The day started like any other. I woke up early, kissed my wife Megan on the forehead, and headed to work. It was just another Monday, with the usual hustle and bustle of city life. Little did I know, this day would mark the beginning of a journey I never anticipated. By mid-afternoon, I found myself with an unexpected break. My client canceled our meeting, leaving me with a rare free hour. On a whim, I decided to head home, thinking it would be a pleasant surprise for Megan. She loved surprises, or so I thought. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a car parked out front that I didn't recognize. My curiosity piqued. I stepped out of my car and walked towards the front door. The house was eerily quiet, too quiet. A knot formed in my stomach as I fumbled with my keys and unlocked the door. I stepped inside, the silence almost deafening. As I moved towards the living room, I heard faint whispers and stifled laughter. My heart pounded in my chest as I crept closer. The scene that unfolded before me shattered my world into a million pieces. There she was, my beautiful Megan, in the arms of another man. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't notice me standing there, frozen in disbelief. The man, a stranger with a smug expression, leaned in to kiss her, and that's when Megan finally saw me. Her face turned pale, and she pushed him away, but it was too late. The damage was done. "John," she exclaimed, her voice trembling. "This isn't what it looks like." "Isn't what it looks like?" I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. Rage and heartbreak warred within me. "It looks like my wife is cheating on me in our home." The man, realizing the gravity of the situation, hastily gathered his things and left without a word. Megan stood there, tears welling up in her eyes, but I couldn't muster any sympathy. My world had crumbled, and all I could feel was a searing pain in my chest. For the next few days, I was in a daze. I couldn't eat, sleep, or think straight. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Megan and that man, his hands on her, his lips on hers. I couldn't believe that the woman I had loved and trusted for so many years could betray me so callously. One evening, as I sat in the darkened living room, nursing a glass of whiskey, Megan tried to talk to me. She apologized, pleaded for forgiveness, and swore it was a one-time mistake. But her words felt hollow, like they were rehearsed. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than just a simple affair. Determined to uncover the truth, I started paying closer attention to Megan's behavior. I noticed her making frequent phone calls, often stepping out of the room to speak in hushed tones. She became more secretive with our finances, changing passwords and refusing to discuss money matters. Red flags that had once been invisible now seemed glaringly obvious. In my desperation for answers, I hired a private investigator named Jack. He was a grizzled veteran with a reputation for uncovering the most well-hidden secrets. I handed him a photo of Megan and briefed him on the situation. "I need to know everything," I said, my voice cold and resolute. "Who she's been seeing, what she's been doing, and why." Jack nodded, understanding the gravity of my request. "I'll get to the bottom of this," he promised. And so began the investigation into Megan's double life. While Jack worked his magic, I focused on protecting my assets. I consulted with my lawyer, Mike, a sharp and cunning attorney who had seen his fair share of divorce battles. Together, we began to lay the groundwork to safeguard my business and personal finances. I transferred funds to secure accounts, updated property deeds, and ensured that Megan wouldn't be able to claim everything in the event of a divorce. Days turned into weeks, and Jack's findings started to trickle in. The more I learned, the more disgusted and betrayed I felt. Megan's affair wasn't just a fling. It was part of a meticulously planned scheme. She had been seeing that man, whose name was also Mike, for over a year. Mike was a divorce attorney, and together, they had been plotting to strip me of my wealth and leave me with nothing. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Megan never loved me. She loved what I could provide. All those years of marriage, the memories we shared, were all a facade. My heart ached, but beneath the sorrow was a burning desire for retribution. They thought they could outsmart me, but they had underestimated my resolve. I worked tirelessly with my lawyer, gathering evidence and preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The documents Jack uncovered showed Megan's financial manipulation, secret bank accounts, and damning emails between her and Mike. We built an airtight case, ready to expose their deceit. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. Armed with irrefutable evidence, I confronted Megan. Her confident facade crumbled as I laid out the facts piece by piece. She tried to deny it at first, but the weight of the evidence was overwhelming. Her betrayal was laid bare, and there was no escaping the consequences. As we headed to court, I felt a mix of anxiety and determination. This was my chance to reclaim my life and ensure that justice was served. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as we presented our case. Megan and Mike's smug expressions turned to horror as the evidence was revealed. The judge listened intently, and the verdict was swift and just. Megan was found guilty of attempted fraud and ordered to relinquish any claims to my assets. Mike faced severe professional repercussions, his career in tatters. As the gavel fell, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. The nightmare was finally over. Leaving the courtroom, I took a deep breath, ready to start anew. My marriage may have ended in betrayal, but I emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. This was my story, a testament to resilience and the unyielding pursuit of truth and justice. With the trial behind me and Megan's scheme laid bare, I thought I could finally breathe easy. But peace didn't come easily. Trust had become a foreign concept, and the shadow of betrayal still loomed large over my life. I needed answers, not just for closure, but to understand how I had missed the signs that my marriage was nothing but a grand deception. Jack, the private investigator, had become a crucial ally in my quest for the truth. His findings had been instrumental in the court case, but I felt there was still more to uncover. I needed to understand the depths of Megan's deceit and how deeply she and Mike had infiltrated my life. "Jack, I need you to dig deeper," I told him one morning over coffee at a small diner. "There's still so much I don't know. I need to understand how they orchestrated this, how long it's been going on, and who else might be involved." Jack nodded, his expression serious. "I understand, John. I'll keep looking. There's always more to find when it comes to something this intricate." While Jack continued his investigation, I immersed myself in work, trying to rebuild the parts of my life that had crumbled. My business had suffered during the turmoil, and it was time to get things back on track. My employees had been supportive throughout the ordeal, but I needed to reestablish my presence and reassure them that everything would be okay. I spent long hours at the office poring over financial reports and client accounts. Each day was a step towards normalcy, but the nights were still haunted by thoughts of betrayal. I would lie awake, replaying moments from my marriage, trying to pinpoint when things had started to go wrong. The uncertainty gnawed at me, but I was determined to reclaim my life. One evening, Jack called with an update. "John, you need to see this," he said, his voice urgent. We arranged to meet at his office, a small, unassuming space filled with files and surveillance equipment. When I arrived, Jack handed me a folder. Inside were photographs, bank statements, and phone records. "Megan and Mike weren't working alone," Jack began. "There were others involved, including some people you considered friends." As I sifted through the documents, my heart sank. Names and faces I recognized appeared in connection with Megan and Mike. They had formed a network, each playing a part in the grand scheme to defraud me. There were emails detailing plans, financial transactions that traced back to accounts linked to my supposed friends, and even surveillance photos of meetings. "This can't be real," I muttered, disbelief clouding my mind. "It is," Jack replied solemnly. "They played you, John, but now you have the evidence to confront them." I felt a surge of anger and betrayal. These were people I had trusted, invited into my home, shared meals with, and all the while, they had been conspiring against me. But along with the anger came a clear sense of purpose. I had taken down Megan and Mike, and now it was time to deal with the rest of them. Armed with Jack's findings, I arranged to meet each person involved, one by one. I wanted to look them in the eye, to see their reactions as I confronted them with their treachery. The first was Dan, a longtime friend and business associate. We met at a local bar, a place where we had shared countless drinks and laughs. "Dan," I began, sliding the folder across the table. "Explain this." He paled as he glanced at the documents. "John, I can explain." "Don't," I interrupted. "I trusted you. You were like a brother to me, and this is how you repay me." He stammered, searching for words, but the guilt was written all over his face. "It was a mistake, John. They roped me in, and I didn't know how to get out." "Save it," I said coldly. "I'll be taking legal action against everyone involved." "You made your bed. now lie in it. The confrontations continued, each one a painful but necessary step towards reclaiming my life. Some, like Dan, were apologetic and claimed they were coerced. Others tried to deny their involvement until the evidence left them with no choice but to confess. In the end, I cut ties with all of them, determined to cleanse my life of their toxic influence. Meanwhile, my lawyer, Mike, worked tirelessly to bring legal action against those involved. It was a complex process, but with the overwhelming evidence Jack had gathered, we had a strong case. The legal battles were exhausting, but they were a crucial part of my journey to rebuild and protect my future. Amidst all this turmoil, a surprising ally emerged. Rachel, one of Megan's friends, reached out to me. She had distanced herself from Megan long before the scandal broke and had crucial information about the scheme. "I never liked what Megan was doing," she confessed during our meeting. "I couldn't stand by and watch her destroy you." Rachel's insights were invaluable. She provided additional details about the network Megan and Mike had built and helped fill in the gaps in our case. Her willingness to come forward restored a bit of my faith in humanity, showing me that not everyone was out to deceive me. As the months passed, the legal battles drew to a close. Many of the conspirators faced severe consequences, both legally and professionally. Megan and Mike's downfall was just the beginning. The entire network crumbled under the weight of their greed and deceit. Justice was served, and I emerged from the ordeal with my assets and business intact. With the conspirators dealt with, I focused on healing. I attended therapy, which helped me process the trauma and rebuild my self-esteem. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones, slowly learning to trust again. I also devoted more time to my business, ensuring it flourished despite the setbacks. Through it all, Jack remained a steadfast ally. His dedication to uncovering the truth had been instrumental in my journey, and I owed him a great deal. "Thank you, Jack," I said one evening as we shared a drink at the same diner where our partnership began. "I couldn't have done this without you." He smiled, raising his glass. "Just doing my job, John. Here's to new beginnings." As I toasted with Jack, I felt a sense of closure. The road had been long and arduous, but I had emerged stronger and wiser. The shadows of betrayal no longer haunted me, replaced by a newfound determination to live life on my terms. This was my story, a testament to resilience, justice, and the power of never giving up. With the legal battles behind me and the conspirators dealt with, I finally felt a sense of calm returning to my life. Yet the journey to rebuild wasn't just about restoring my business and finances. It was about healing emotionally and finding a way to move forward from the deep betrayal that had scarred me. I threw myself into my work, determined to see my business flourish again. My team, loyal and supportive, rallied around me. We launched new projects, secured significant deals, and rebuilt our client base. The office buzzed with renewed energy, a stark contrast to the dark days of the scandal. Slowly, I felt my confidence returning, fueled by the progress we were making. However, despite my professional success, my personal life remained a challenge. Trust was a fragile thing, and the thought of opening up to someone new seemed daunting. I spent more time with friends, both old and new, but romance was something I kept at arm's length. One evening, Rachel invited me to a charity event. It was a gala for a local children's hospital, a cause close to her heart. I hesitated at first, but she convinced me it would be good to get out and socialize. "You need a break from work, John," she said. "Besides, it's for a good cause." At the event, I mingled with the crowd, exchanging polite conversation and sipping on champagne. The atmosphere was lively, and for the first time in a while, I felt a sense of normalcy. As I stood by the bar, Rachel introduced me to a woman named Laura. She was a doctor at the hospital, and her warmth and genuine smile immediately put me at ease. "John, this is Laura," Rachel said. "She's been a friend for years. I think you'll get along." Laura extended her hand, her eyes bright with curiosity. "It's nice to meet you, John. Rachel's told me a lot about you." We spent the evening talking, finding common ground in our love for travel and adventure. Laura's passion for her work was inspiring, and her positive outlook on life was contagious. For the first time since the betrayal, I found myself genuinely enjoying someone's company without the shadow of mistrust hanging over me. Over the next few weeks, Laura and I saw more of each other. We went on hikes, explored new restaurants, and even took a weekend trip to the coast. Her presence in my life was a breath of fresh air, and I began to feel the walls I had built around my heart slowly crumbling. Despite the joy Laura brought into my life, there were still moments of hesitation. The scars from Megan's betrayal ran deep, and I struggled with the fear of being hurt again. Laura sensed this and never pushed me, giving me the space I needed to heal at my own pace. One evening, as we walked along the beach, the setting sun casting a golden glow on the water, Laura turned to me. "John, I know you've been through a lot. I don't want to rush you or make you feel pressured, but I need you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what." Her words, filled with sincerity and kindness, touched me deeply. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my past lifting slightly. "Thank you, Laura," I said. "Your patience means more to me than you know." As time passed, my trust in Laura grew, and with it a new sense of hope for the future. She stood by me through the lingering legal proceedings, offering support and understanding. With her encouragement, I began to see a therapist regularly, which helped me process my emotions and move forward. The therapy sessions were tough but necessary. I confronted my fears, acknowledged my pain, and learned to let go of the anger that had consumed me. My therapist, Dr. Ellis, guided me through this journey with compassion and wisdom. "Healing is a process, John," she often reminded me. "It takes time, but you're making progress." Through therapy, I also realized the importance of forgiveness, not just towards Megan and the others who had betrayed me, but towards myself. I had been carrying a heavy burden of guilt, wondering how I had been so blind to the deceit around me. Dr. Ellis helped me understand that I wasn't at fault. I had simply trusted the wrong people. One day, while reflecting on everything, I decided to visit Megan. It wasn't about rekindling anything. It was about closure. I needed to look her in the eye one last time and release the lingering resentment that had been holding me back. When I arrived at her new apartment, Megan seemed surprised to see me. "John," she said, her voice hesitant, "what are you doing here?" "I came for closure, Megan," I replied. "I needed to see you one last time, to let go of the anger and pain. What you did was wrong and it hurt me deeply, but I won't let it define the rest of my life." Megan nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm sorry, John, I truly am. I never meant for things to go this far." "I know," I said, "but it's time for both of us to move on. I forgive you, Megan, not for you, but for myself. I need to let go of the past to embrace my future." Leaving her apartment, I felt a sense of liberation. The weight I had been carrying for so long seemed lighter, and for the first time in years, I felt truly free. Forgiveness had been the key to unlocking my future, and I was ready to move forward with my life. With Megan now a part of my past, I focused on building a future with Laura. Our relationship grew stronger with each passing day, built on trust, mutual respect, and a deep connection that neither of us had experienced before. We traveled together, supported each other's dreams, and created new memories that helped heal the old wounds. My business continued to thrive, and I found joy in mentoring young entrepreneurs, sharing my experiences, and helping them navigate the challenges of building their own ventures. I also got involved in charitable activities, giving back to the community, and finding fulfillment in helping others. Life had a new rhythm, one filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. I had learned that betrayal could break you, but it could also be a catalyst for growth and transformation. My story was a testament to resilience, the power of forgiveness, and the importance of never giving up. As I stood on the balcony of my home, looking out at the city skyline, Laura joined me, wrapping her arms around my waist. "What are you thinking about?" she asked, her voice soft and filled with warmth. "Just reflecting on how far we've come," I replied, turning to kiss her forehead. "I'm grateful for you, for everything." She smiled, her eyes shining with love. "And I'm grateful for you, John. Here's to our future, whatever it may hold." As we stood there embracing the present and looking forward to the future, I knew that I had finally found peace. My journey had been long and arduous, but it had led me to a place of happiness and fulfillment. This was my story, a story of triumph over adversity, and it was only just beginning. The journey of healing and rebuilding had brought me to a place of peace and stability, but life, as always, had more in store. My relationship with Laura continued to flourish, and together we created a life filled with joy, adventure, and mutual support. Yet there were still challenges ahead, and new beginnings that would test our bond and shape our future. One sunny afternoon, Laura and I were sitting on the porch of our new home, a cozy house nestled in a quiet neighborhood. We had recently moved in together, a significant step in our relationship that filled us both with excitement and a sense of shared purpose. "John, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about," Laura said, her eyes reflecting both anticipation and a hint of nervousness. "What's on your mind?" I asked, taking her hand in mine. She took a deep breath before speaking. "I've been offered a position to lead a new pediatric research program at a hospital in San Francisco. It's an incredible opportunity, and it means a lot to me, but it would require us to move." I felt a mix of emotions. On one hand, I was thrilled for Laura and the opportunity that aligned perfectly with her passion and expertise. On the other hand, the thought of uprooting our lives and moving to a new city was daunting. But I knew how much this meant to her, and I was determined to support her dreams as she had supported mine. "Laura, that's amazing news!" I exclaimed, pulling her into a tight embrace. "Of course, well, make it work. San Francisco is a great city, and I know you'll do incredible things there." Her eyes lit up with relief and joy. "Thank you, John. Your support means everything to me. I was worried about how you'd feel about moving." "We're in this together," I reassured her. "Wherever you go, I go." The decision to move set off a whirlwind of activity. We began making arrangements to sell the house, pack up our belongings, and find a new place in San Francisco. My business was flexible enough to operate remotely, and I looked forward to the new opportunities and adventures that awaited us in a vibrant, bustling city. As we settled into our new life in San Francisco, I found myself adapting to the change with surprising ease. The city, with its iconic Golden Gate Bridge, rolling hills, and diverse culture, quickly grew on me. Laura thrived in her new role, her passion for pediatric research evident in her every action. Seeing her so fulfilled brought me immense happiness. I immersed myself in the local business community, attending networking events and forging new connections. The move had given me a fresh perspective, and I was eager to explore new ventures and collaborations. One of my first initiatives was to establish a mentorship program for aspiring entrepreneurs, offering guidance and support to those starting their own journeys. One day, while attending a business conference, I met a man named Alex, a seasoned entrepreneur with a background in tech startups. We struck up a conversation, and it quickly became clear that we shared a common vision for innovation and growth. Alex proposed a partnership to launch a new venture, combining his technical expertise with my business acumen. "John, I think we could create something groundbreaking together," Alex said, his enthusiasm infectious. "With your strategic insights and my tech background, we could develop a platform that revolutionizes the way businesses operate." I was intrigued by the idea and agreed to explore the partnership further. Over the next few months, Alex and I worked tirelessly to develop our concept. We conducted market research, met with potential investors, and refined our business plan. The project was challenging but exhilarating, and it reignited my passion for entrepreneurship. Meanwhile, Laura's research program was making significant strides. She and her team were on the verge of a breakthrough in pediatric oncology, and her work garnered attention and praise from the medical community. We celebrated each other's successes, finding strength and inspiration in our shared achievements. Despite our busy schedules, Laura and I made it a priority to spend quality time together. We explored the city, went on weekend getaways to Napa Valley, and enjoyed quiet evenings at home. Our bond grew stronger, and I realized more than ever how fortunate I was to have her in my life. One evening, as we watched the sunset from our balcony, Laura turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, I've been thinking a lot about the future," she said softly, "about us and what comes next." I felt a flutter of anticipation. "What do you have in mind?" "Well," she began, a smile playing on her lips, "I love the life we've built together, and I want to take the next step. I've been thinking about starting a family." Her words filled me with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The idea of becoming a father was both thrilling and daunting, but with Laura by my side, I felt ready to embrace this new chapter. "Laura, I would love that," I said, my voice filled with emotion. "Starting a family with you would be the greatest adventure of all." Her eyes sparkled with joy as she hugged me tightly. "I'm so glad to hear that, John. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us." As we embarked on this new journey, our lives continued to evolve in unexpected and wonderful ways. Our startup with Alex gained traction, attracting significant investment and growing rapidly. The platform we developed became a game changer in the business world, streamlining operations and fostering innovation. At the same time, Laura's research achieved a major breakthrough, leading to new treatments and saving countless lives. Her dedication and hard work were recognized with numerous awards and accolades, and I couldn't have been prouder of her achievements. One of the most significant moments came when Laura and I discovered we were expecting our first child. The news brought a whirlwind of emotions, joy, excitement, and a profound sense of responsibility. We began preparing for the arrival of our baby, transforming a room into a nursery and attending parenting classes. The months leading up to the birth were filled with anticipation and preparation. Laura and I supported each other through every step, our bond growing even stronger. The experience of expecting a child brought us closer than ever, and we cherished every moment of this journey together. Finally, the day arrived. Laura went into labor, and we rushed to the hospital, our hearts pounding with excitement and nerves. The hours that followed were a blur of emotions, but when our baby girl was born, all the fear and uncertainty melted away. Holding her in my arms for the first time, I felt an overwhelming sense of love and awe. "Welcome to the world, little one," I whispered, tears of joy streaming down my face. Laura, exhausted but radiant, smiled at me, her eyes filled with love. Our daughter Emily brought an entirely new dimension to our lives. Parenthood was challenging, but it was also the most rewarding experience I had ever known. Laura and I navigated sleepless nights, diaper changes, and first milestones together, finding joy in the simple moments and celebrating each new achievement. As I looked at my family, Laura, whose strength and love had transformed my life, and Emily, the beautiful symbol of our love, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. The journey had been long and filled with challenges, but it had led me to a place of profound happiness and fulfillment. Through the ups and downs, the betrayals and triumphs, I had learned that life's greatest rewards often come from the most unexpected places. My story was a testament to resilience, love, and the power of new beginnings. And as I stood on the threshold of this new chapter, I knew that the best was yet to come. Life with Laura and our daughter Emily was everything I had hoped for and more. Parenthood brought immense joy and profound challenges, but each day with my family felt like a gift. The initial months were a whirlwind of sleepless nights, baby giggles, and countless diaper changes. We adapted to our new roles, finding a rhythm that worked for us. Emily was a curious and energetic child. Her laughter filled our home, and her bright eyes seemed to soak in every new experience with wonder. Laura and I took turns with nightly feedings, changing diapers, and soothing her to sleep. Our teamwork was seamless, and our bond grew even stronger as we navigated this new chapter together. One evening after putting Emily to bed, Laura and I sat on the couch, exhausted but content. "I can't believe how much she's grown already," Laura said, her eyes soft with love. "It feels like just yesterday we brought her home." "I know," I replied, smiling. "She's changing so fast. I don't want to miss a single moment." As Emily grew, so did the demands of our professional lives. My business partnership with Alex was thriving, and we were in the process of expanding our platform to new markets. Laura's research continued to gain recognition, and she often had to travel for conferences and meetings. Balancing our careers with parenthood required careful planning and communication. One weekend, Laura had to attend a conference in New York, and I took on the role of solo parent. It was the first time I had been alone with Emily for an extended period, and while I was confident, I also felt a twinge of nervousness. Laura reassured me with a kiss and a smile before she left. "You'll do great, John. Just follow her routine, and everything will be fine." The first day went smoothly. Emily and I played in the park, had lunch together, and enjoyed story time before bed. But the second night was different. Emily woke up crying and wouldn't settle down. I tried everything, rocking her, singing lullabies, checking her diaper, but nothing seemed to work. I felt a surge of frustration and helplessness. "What's wrong, sweetie?" I murmured, holding her close. Emily's cries continued, and I felt my confidence waver. I missed Laura's calming presence and her ability to soothe Emily effortlessly. Eventually, I managed to get Emily back to sleep, but the experience left me feeling drained and unsure of myself. The next morning, I called Laura for advice. She listened patiently as I recounted the night and offered words of encouragement. "You're doing a great job, John. It's not easy, but you're handling it well. Just remember that it's okay to ask for help if you need it." Laura's words reassured me, and I decided to reach out to our neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, for some extra support. She was a kind elderly woman who adored Emily and had always offered to help if we needed it. Mrs. Thompson gladly agreed to watch Emily for a few hours, giving me a chance to recharge and take care of some work. Having that support made a world of difference. I realized that parenthood wasn't about doing everything perfectly. It was about doing the best you could and leaning on others when needed. When Laura returned, I felt a renewed sense of confidence and appreciation for the partnership we shared. As the months passed, we continued to juggle our careers and parenthood. Emily started daycare, which gave Laura and me more flexibility during the day. We cherished the moments we spent together as a family, from weekend outings to quiet evenings at home. Our love for each other and for Emily grew stronger with each passing day. However, life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way. One afternoon, while I was at a business meeting, I received a frantic call from Laura. "John, you need to come to the hospital. Emily had an accident at daycare." My heart dropped, and I rushed to the hospital, my mind racing with worry. When I arrived, I found Laura in the waiting room, her face pale and eyes filled with tears. "What happened?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "She fell off the playground equipment and hit her head," Laura explained, her voice trembling. "The doctors are checking her now." We held each other tightly, waiting anxiously for news. Time seemed to crawl, and every minute felt like an eternity. Finally, a doctor approached us with a reassuring smile. "Emily is going to be fine. She has a mild concussion, but there are no serious injuries. We'll keep her overnight for observation, but she should recover quickly." Relief washed over us, and we thanked the doctor profusely. When we were finally allowed to see Emily, she was resting peacefully in her hospital bed, a small bandage on her forehead. Seeing her like that broke my heart, but I was grateful she was okay. Laura and I took turns staying by Emily's side, holding her hand and whispering words of comfort. That night, as I sat by her bed, I couldn't help but reflect on how fragile life was and how quickly things could change. The incident reminded me of the importance of cherishing every moment and being present for the ones we love. Emily recovered quickly, and life returned to its usual rhythm. The experience brought Laura and me even closer, reinforcing our commitment to each other and to our family. We made a conscious effort to prioritize our time together, ensuring that our careers didn't overshadow the precious moments we shared as a family. As Emily grew, so did her curiosity and enthusiasm for the world around her. She loved exploring nature, asking countless questions, and discovering new interests. Laura and I nurtured her curiosity, encouraging her to pursue her passions and supporting her every step of the way. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Emily looked up at us with a serious expression. "Mommy, Daddy, I want to be a scientist like Mommy when I grow up." Laura and I exchanged a proud glance. "That's wonderful, Emily," Laura said, smiling. "You can be anything you want to be. We'll always support you." Emily's declaration filled me with a sense of pride and hope for the future. Parenthood had its trials, but it also brought immeasurable joy and fulfillment. Laura and I had built a life filled with love, resilience, and endless possibilities, and I was excited to see where the journey would take us next. As I tucked Emily into bed that night, she looked up at me with sleepy eyes. "Daddy, will you tell me a story?" "Of course, sweetheart," I replied, sitting beside her and beginning one of her favorite tales. As I watched her drift off to sleep, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Our story was still unfolding, with new chapters filled with love, challenges, and triumphs. And I knew that as long as we faced them together, there was nothing we couldn't overcome. The years passed quickly, and our family life continued to be filled with love and laughter. Emily grew into a bright, inquisitive young girl, always eager to learn and explore. Laura and I were incredibly proud of her and the person she was becoming. Our professional lives flourished, and we found a balance between work and family that allowed us to savor every precious moment. One summer, we decided to take a family vacation to Europe. It was a trip we had been planning for years, and we were all excited to explore new places and create lasting memories together. Our journey began in Paris, where Emily was captivated by the Eiffel Tower and the city's rich history. "Look, Mommy, it's just like in the pictures," Emily exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder as we stood beneath the iconic structure. "Yes, sweetie," Laura said, smiling. "Isn't it amazing to see it in person?" We spent our days visiting museums, enjoying delicious French cuisine, and strolling along the Seine. The highlight for Emily was a visit to the Louvre, where she marveled at the artworks and asked endless questions about the paintings and sculptures. From Paris, we traveled to Italy, exploring the ancient ruins of Rome and the breathtaking canals of Venice. Each destination brought new adventures and experiences, and we cherished every moment together. The trip was a reminder of how far we had come as a family and how much we had to look forward to. As our European adventure came to an end, we returned home with hearts full of gratitude and excitement for the future. Our lives settled back into their usual rhythm, but the memories of our trip remained a source of joy and inspiration. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Laura turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, there's something that I've been wanting to discuss with you." "What's on your mind, I asked, sensing the seriousness in her tone. "I've been offered a new position," she said, her eyes searching mine. "It's a leadership role at a prestigious research institute, but it would require us to move to Boston." I took a moment to process the information. Boston was a significant change, but I knew how much this opportunity meant to Laura. "That sounds like an incredible opportunity," I said, taking her hand in mine. "And Boston is a great city. I'm sure we can make it work." Laura smiled, relief evident in her eyes. "Thank you, John. I was worried about how you and Emily would feel about moving again." "We'll figure it out together," I reassured her. "Emily's resilient, and we'll support each other through the transition." The decision to move to Boston set off another whirlwind of activity. We began making arrangements to sell our home, find a new place in Boston, and prepare Emily for the move. The process was both exciting and challenging, but we faced it with the same teamwork and determination that had carried us through previous trials. As we settled into our new life in Boston, we found that the city offered a wealth of opportunities and experiences. Emily quickly adapted to her new school, making friends and embracing the change with her characteristic enthusiasm. Laura's new role was demanding but deeply fulfilling, and she thrived in the dynamic research environment. My own career continued to evolve as well. The move to Boston opened new doors for my business, and I found myself collaborating with innovative startups and expanding our reach. The city's vibrant entrepreneurial scene was inspiring, and I was excited to be a part of it. One weekend, we decided to explore the scenic beauty of New England. We took a trip to Cape Cod, where we spent our days on the beach, collecting seashells and enjoying the fresh ocean air. Emily loved playing in the sand and splashing in the waves, and her laughter was a constant reminder of the simple joys in life. As we sat around a bonfire one evening, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories, I reflected on our journey. The twists and turns, the challenges and triumphs had all led us to this moment. Our family was stronger and more united than ever, and I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the life we had built together. "John, I can't imagine going through this journey with anyone else," Laura said, her voice filled with emotion. "We've come so far, and I'm so proud of us." "I feel the same way," I replied, squeezing her hand. "We've faced a lot, but we've always come out stronger, and I know the best is yet to come." As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled above us, I looked at Emily, who was curled up next to us, her eyes heavy with sleep. She was the embodiment of our love and resilience, a testament to the strength and beauty of our journey. Life continued to unfold, bringing new challenges and opportunities. We watched Emily grow, celebrating her achievements and guiding her through the ups and downs of childhood and adolescence. Laura and I continued to support each other, our bond deepening with each passing year. One of the most significant moments came when Emily graduated from high school with honors. Her passion for science had only grown, and she was accepted into a prestigious university to study biology. Watching her walk across the stage to receive her diploma, I felt an immense sense of pride and fulfillment. "Mom, Dad, I couldn't have done it without you," Emily said, hugging us tightly after the ceremony. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart," Laura said, tears of joy in her eyes. "You're going to do amazing things." As we celebrated Emily's achievements, I reflected on the journey that had brought us here. From the betrayal and heartache of the past to the joy and fulfillment of the present, our story was one of resilience, love, and unwavering commitment. Years later, as I stood on the porch of our home in Boston, watching the sun set over the city, I felt a deep sense of peace. Laura joined me, wrapping her arms around my waist, and together we looked out at the future with hope and excitement. "Here's to our journey," Laura said, raising a glass. "To our journey," I echoed, clinking my glass with hers. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, I knew that our story was far from over. It was a story of love, resilience, and endless possibilities, a story that would continue to unfold, chapter by chapter, for years to come.